The drugstore is supposed to be safe. That's why we trust Walgreens. Until testing revealed their acne cleanser had benzene, 17 times over the FDA limit. And it's probably in your bathroom right now, getting more dangerous every day you keep it. By the end of this video, the 15 products regulators won't remove and 5 alternatives that prove luxury was always a lie. The benzene in your acne treatment. In March 2025, the FDA announced a voluntary recall of SLMD benzoyl peroxide acne lotion. The reason? Elevated levels of benzene, a known human carcinogen linked to leukemia, forming right inside the bottle. Lot 2430600 was pulled from shelves, but the implications extend far beyond a single batch. This isn't manufacturing contamination. This is fundamental chemistry failing at the molecular level. Benzene forms through chemical degradation of the benzoyl peroxide molecule itself. The active ingredient breaks down over time, especially when stored at room temperature or exposed to heat. Your bathroom cabinet, your purse, your car, every environment accelerates the degradation process. For older users, the cumulative risk is what makes this particularly dangerous. Daily application over months or years means repeated exposure to a carcinogen that builds concentration as the product ages. You're not applying a stable treatment. You're applying a compound actively transforming into a substance regulators classify as a serious health threat. This is a systemic chemistry problem affecting an entire category of products. And when even drugstore staples harbour the same danger, trust becomes the industry's most toxic ingredient. When drugstore health products harbour carcinogens. Walgreens Acne Control Cleanser seemed like a safe, accessible drugstore option, until testing revealed benzene concentrations of 35.3 parts per million, 17 times higher than the FDA's limit. Lot 2309328 was included in the March 2025 voluntary recalls, joining SLMD and dozens of other benzoyl peroxide products pulled from shelves. But this one carries particular betrayal. Walgreens occupies a trusted position in American healthcare. The drugstore aisle feels safe, regulated, accessible. Testing proved otherwise. The FDA's conditional limit for benzene is 2 parts per million. Walgreens Acne Control Cleanser reached 35.3. That's 17 times over the threshold established to protect public health. This represents a category-wide failure where the active ingredient designed to treat skin becomes the mechanism of harm. When drugstore accessibility becomes a liability rather than protection, and pharmacy shelves harbour carcinogens 17 times over legal limits, the assumption that mainstream equals safe collapses entirely. And when luxury brands charge hundreds for ingredients costing pennies, markup becomes the first deception. Caviar dreams. Marketing schemes. $400 to $700 for caviar extract that laboratory testing proves functions primarily as light-reflecting glitter, not cellular repair. La Prairie Skin Caviar Collection represents luxury skincare at its most audacious, using what the industry calls molecular scarcity, marketing caviar extract and gold to signal timeless opulence. Supercritical caviar extracts show potential in controlled laboratory settings, but those impressive results require concentrations that don't exist at retail. What you're buying is angel dusting, an industry practice where exotic ingredients are included at levels too low to deliver clinical benefits. The caviar extract serves one function. It reflects light. Those shimmering particles mask wrinkles temporarily through optical illusion, not by repairing the dermal matrix where actual aging occurs. Compare that to a prescription-strength retinoid, which costs less than $50 and has decades of peer-reviewed evidence proving it reverses photoaging at the cellular level. When marketing budgets exceed research budgets, you pay for theatre. And when angel dusting replaces active ingredients, even molecular water becomes a luxury scam. The $300 water bottle. $325 for a serum whose primary ingredient costs $50 to $300 per kilogram wholesale. When you do the math, you're paying for marketing genius, not molecular innovation. Dr. Barbara Sturm's hyaluronic serum is marketed under a molecular cosmetics philosophy that sounds revolutionary. The science behind hyaluronic acid is legitimate. This humectant can hold 1,000 times its weight in water, drawing moisture into skin and creating temporary plumping. But here's what molecular cosmetics won't tell you. The wholesale bulk cost of sodium hyaluronate ranges from $50 to $300 per kilogram. For a 30 milliliter bottle, you're looking at pennies worth of raw material marked up to $325. For women over 60, the deeper issue is what this formula lacks. Structural anti-aging requires high-potency retinoids that rebuild collagen and reverse photoaging. Basic hydration cannot address dermal architecture changes happening beneath the surface. When a serum costs more than its weight in gold, but delivers less than a $15 drugstore alternative, you're subsidizing prestige, not transformation. The proprietary information defense. When researchers asked Bliss to provide scientific evidence for their oxygen microcirculation and collagen production claims, the company declined, citing proprietary information. That should tell you everything. Bliss. The Youth as We Know It moisture cream costs $79 and promises the 10 most important anti-aging ingredients working in synergy. The marketing emphasizes boosting oxygen microcirculation and stimulating collagen production, claims that sound medically sophisticated and backed by research. Except when independent researchers requested the clinical studies supporting these assertions, Bliss representatives refused to share them. The reason given? Proprietary information. This is the beauty industry's favourite deflection when evidence doesn't exist. Dermatologists who analysed the formulation identified the pattern immediately. The claims aren't based on clinical trials testing the finished product on human skin. They're based on raw material testing conducted by ingredient suppliers in isolated laboratory conditions. What you're actually getting is basic moisturization and mild exfoliation, functions you can find in products costing a quarter of this price. When proprietary, information becomes the shield against scientific scrutiny. Deceptive business practices extend beyond formulations. The subscription you never agreed to. You bought a hair growth device. One time, one purchase. Until your credit card statement revealed monthly charges you never authorized, and customer service claimed cancellation was impossible. Hairmax.com became the subject of a 2025 class action lawsuit, alleging the company fails to properly disclose automatic subscription and renewal terms. This is negative option marketing, one-time purchases transforming into recurring charges buried in fine print. When customers attempted to cancel, they encountered barriers designed to make termination impossible. The financial trap mirrors the product dangers we've exposed. Both rely on consumers not reading fine print, not understanding hidden risks, not realizing what they've agreed to, until damage is done. Research shows consumers believe they spend $86 monthly on subscriptions. The reality? $219. That $133 gap exists because of obscured billing like Hairmax allegedly employs. When legitimate companies adopt the same tactics as scammers, distinguishing between them becomes impossible. If you're overwhelmed by carcinogens and subscription traps, here's what's next. 5 products with 0 hidden dangers, published clinical proof, and a fraction of luxury pricing. But first, the AI weaponization targeting women over 60. If you're realizing that even drugstore products contain carcinogens and legitimate companies use scammer tactics, you're not alone. Every week on this channel, I expose regulatory failures and industry secrets companies hope you never discover. Subscribe so you don't miss the next investigation. Because what comes next reveals how artificial intelligence engineers 50-minute frauds using stolen celebrity faces. The 50-minute deepfake engineering. 50 minutes. That's how long the deepfake video ran, featuring a cloned voice and image of Dr. Mark Hyman interviewing Rebel Wilson about a gelatin trick for massive weight loss and skin rejuvenation. Every second was fabricated, with artificial intelligence sophisticated enough to fool millions. The 2025 video didn't just clone voices, it engineered an entire fake reality. Scammers used AI to analyze hundreds of hours of real Dr. Hyman interviews, studying his speech patterns, facial expressions, and conversational rhythm. The same process mapped Rebel Wilson's mannerisms. Then, artificial intelligence stitched this data together to create a seamless 50-minute conversation that never happened. The dialogue about a revolutionary gelatin-based supplement flowed naturally, complete with pauses and laughter that make interviews feel authentic. Viewers who believed the endorsement were directed to fraudulent websites selling Harmo Slim and Lipo-Vive. Women entered credit card information, expecting transformation. What arrived were unauthorized charges labeled Cart Panda. Many received nothing. Those who did reported generic supplements with no gelatin content. This represents artificial intelligence weaponized at industrial scale, targeting older adults through 50-minute productions requiring sophisticated technical infrastructure and deliberate psychological manipulation. And when one celebrity's credibility can be stolen for 50 minutes of fraud, no public figure is immune. How authority bias becomes financial devastation. AI-generated images and audio of Oprah Winfrey endorsing keto gummy bears. One bottle for $49. Except the charge was $198. The endorsement was fake, and the product never arrived. This scam succeeds because of authority bias, the human tendency to trust figures perceived as credible experts or influential leaders. Oprah Winfrey has spent 40 years building trust with millions of women. That accumulated trust becomes the scammer's most valuable asset. The deepfakes show Oprah recommending keto gummies with her voice, her mannerisms, her warmth, all fabricated. The financial devastation follows a psychological pattern. Advertisements promise one bottle for $49, with Oprah's apparent endorsement. Victims click through, enter payment information, and discover unauthorized charges of $198 or more. Customer service is non-existent. The products, when they arrive at all, contain generic ingredients bearing no resemblance to what was promised. When 40 years of earned trust can be digitally stolen and converted into financial fraud targeting older women specifically, celebrity endorsement loses all protective value. And when medical-grade products enter unregulated shadow markets, the danger becomes life-threatening. The shadow market for paralysis. 18 warning letters. That's how many the FDA issued to websites selling counterfeit Botox in late 2024. The risks? Botulism symptoms, respiratory failure, and paralysis from products manufactured in unregulated labs. Websites like filleroutlet.com and careerfillerexperts.com operate in the shadow market. Online platforms illegally marketing misbranded botulinum toxin products to consumers desperate for affordable alternatives. The appeal is obvious. Legitimate Botox costs hundreds of dollars per treatment. These websites promise the same results for a fraction of the cost, delivered directly to your door. What they don't promise is safety. The formulations are unapproved, meaning they've never undergone rigorous testing required for products containing one of the most potent biological toxins known to me. Science. Many are counterfeits, manufactured in facilities with no regulatory oversight, no sterility protocols, no quality control. The consequences are severe. Botulism symptoms include muscle weakness spreading through the body. Respiratory failure occurs when the toxin paralyzes breathing muscles. These products bypass essential oversight of licensed medical professionals who understand dosing and emergency protocols. When cost consciousness becomes the entry point for unregulated neurotoxins, affordability transforms into catastrophic risk. If you're overwhelmed by AI scams and shadow markets, the contamination crisis coming next is why the 5 products I'll reveal contain 0 carcinogens and complete transparency. But first, mercury levels that produce toxic household vapors. The mercury crisis. 5 products, 1 toxic marketplace. The legal limit for mercury in cosmetics is 1 part per million. Stillman's Skin Bleach Cream tested at 16,400. Chandni Whitening Cream tested at 30,146. Pfizer Beauty Cream tested at 28,500 plus hydroquinone and steroids. Anisa Gold tested at 12,400 with 0 ingredient labelling. Gory Beauty Cream tested at 24,000 despite multiple FDA warnings. All remain accessible on Facebook and Instagram. This is a systemic crisis affecting products manufactured across Pakistan, Bangladesh, and unregulated facilities worldwide. Mercury is a persistent neurotoxin that lightens skin by suppressing melanin. The cosmetic effect is temporary. Neurological and kidney damage is permanent. Chandni, at 30,000 times the legal threshold, represents contamination so extreme the product is essentially toxic compound with cosmetic additives. Despite bans in multiple countries, it remains 1 click away on Facebook. Pfizer compounds danger by adding hydroquinone, which causes permanent darkening, and steroids that thin skin. Pakistani authorities designated this a major health hazard. Stillman's produces toxic vapours at room temperature. Mercury evaporates, creating airborne contamination throughout your home. Children inhale these fumes. A grandmother applying skin bleach creates household-wide poisoning. Anisa and Gori share zero labelling and no manufacturer registration. The Philippines FDA issued Advisory 2023-2344 naming Gori. The product remains available. These products circulate through social media, where sellers create accounts faster than regulators can shut them down. The regulatory framework built for brick-and-mortar retail cannot address global e-commerce, bypassing customs and safety testing. When bans cannot prevent sales, consumer protection becomes an illusion. Leave a comment right now. Have you seen any of these mercury-contaminated products being sold on social media or e-commerce sites? Your reports help regulators identify where dangerous products circulate and protect other women from neurotoxic exposure. The carcinogen hiding in plain sight. DMDM hydantoin, imidazolidinyl urea. If you see these ingredients in your prestige anti-aging cream, you're applying preservatives that release formaldehyde, a known human carcinogen, directly onto your skin. Many anti-aging moisturizers sold at luxury department stores contain formaldehyde releasers, compounds used as preservatives. These chemicals decompose over time, releasing formaldehyde into the product as it sits on your vanity, against your skin. Formaldehyde is classified as a known human carcinogen. Exposure is linked to chronic skin sensitization and respiratory harm when vapors are inhaled during application, particularly concerning for daily use over years. The European Union restricts formaldehyde releases in cosmetics. The United States applies no such limitations. American manufacturers can include these preservatives at whatever concentrations they choose. What makes this particularly insidious is the prestige positioning. Formaldehyde releases appear in luxury anti-aging creams sold at Sephora and Nordstrom for hundreds of dollars, marketed to women over 60 as premium skincare. The ingredients hide behind chemical names consumers don't recognize. Without understanding these are formaldehyde-releasing preservatives, label reading provides no protection. But if you thought everything in anti-aging was contaminated theatre, what comes next will restore your faith entirely. 15 betrayals. Benzene, mercury, AI fraud, formaldehyde. And I know what you're thinking. Is anything safe? Yes. 5 products with 0 carcinogens, published clinical proof, and costs that prove luxury is a lie. The beauty industry's worst nightmare is an informed consumer. You're about to become one. The vitamin C that exposes luxury's testing failure. When independent laboratories conducted iodine tests for vitamin C efficacy, CeraVe skin-renewing vitamin C serum passed with flying colours. Luxury serums costing 10 times more, many failed, proving their vitamin C had oxidised into useless compounds. The iodine test is simple chemistry, revealing uncomfortable truths. When vitamin C is stable and biologically active, it reduces iodine from brown to clear in seconds. When vitamin C has degraded from exposure to light or air, the iodine stays brown. It's a pass-fail test luxury brands would prefer consumers never learned about. Dermatologists recommend CeraVe because it consistently passes this stability test, while formulations costing $300 fail. The active ingredients: 10% L-ascorbic acid, the most clinically studied form of vitamin C for stimulating collagen production. 3. Essential ceramides rebuild the lipid barrier that deteriorates with age. Hyaluronic acid provides hydration without heavy emollients. For women over 60, barrier health is the foundation everything else builds upon. A compromised barrier means increased sensitivity and accelerated aging, regardless of expensive serums layered on top. CeraVe addresses this structural necessity in a fragrance-free formulation. When independent testing exposes that drugstore stability outperforms luxury instability, the next question becomes, what do clinical percentages actually mean? What 117% collagen increase actually looks like? $10.90. For a serum clinically proven to increase collagen synthesis by 117%. That means your skin produces more than double the collagen it would without this intervention. The ordinary Matrixyl 10% plus HA forces us to visualize what clinical percentages mean. Practically, 117% collagen increase isn't abstract laboratory data. It's the difference between skin that sags from structural collapse and skin that maintains firmness because the support network is being actively rebuilt. The formulation contains 2 generations of Matrixyl, peptides that signal fibroblasts to increase production. The same research showed hyaluronic acid synthesis increasing by 267%, nearly tripling your skin's capacity to generate molecules that maintain volume and hydration. As collagen production declines with age, skin loses firmness and resilience. The visible manifestation is deepening lines and skin that no longer bounces back. Matrixyl partially reverses that decline. What sets the ordinary apart is radical transparency. The brand publishes exact concentrations, 10% Matrixyl, published clinical percentages verified. When transparency costs $10 and deception costs $300, the water revolution becomes even more shocking. The 5-weight water scandal. Dr. Barbara Sturm charges $325 for single-weight hyaluronic acid that can only hydrate one layer of your skin. Prequel Multi-Quench delivers 5 distinct molecular weights for $28, reaching every layer. Sturm's formula cannot penetrate. This is where molecular cosmetics vocabulary collides with actual molecular science. Hyaluronic acid molecules exist in different sizes. Large molecules sit on skin's surface, providing immediate plumping. Small molecules penetrate deeply, reaching dermal structures where hydration supports collagen networks. Single-weight formulations can only target one layer. Dr. Sturm's serum uses one size. Multi-weight technology delivers all 5 molecular sizes in one application. Ultra-low for deep penetration, low for dermal hydration, medium for epidermal moisture, high for surface plumping, ultra-high for barrier protection. Independent testing shows multi-weight formulations significantly outperform single-weight in both immediate plumping and sustained moisture retention. You're getting superior technology, 5 weights instead of 1, at $28, compared to $325 for an inferior approach, marketed with sophisticated vocabulary. When actual molecular innovation costs less than molecular cosmetics marketing, the question becomes whether ancient wisdom can compete. When $5 honey outperforms $100 surfactants. Raw honey sitting in your kitchen costs $5 and performs the same cleansing function as luxury formulations costing 20 times more, without synthetic fragrances or harsh surfactants that strip your skin's protective acid mantle. This represents ancient wisdom validated by modern dermatology. Honey has been used for skin treatment for thousands of years. Science is straightforward. Natural antimicrobial properties prevent bacterial growth without harsh preservatives. As a humectant, honey draws moisture into skin during cleansing rather than stripping it away. Enzymes provide gentle exfoliation without physical scrubbing that damages mature skin. For mature skin, what honey doesn't contain matters as much as what it does. No synthetic fragrances triggering inflammation. No sodium lauryl sulfate stripping the acid mantle, your skin's protective pH barrier that becomes increasingly fragile with age. Luxury cleansers charge $100 for formulations that fundamentally compromise this barrier. The application is simple. Dampen face, apply honey, massage gently, rinse. $5 for honey that lasts months versus $100 for prestige cleansers that accomplish less while causing damage. When kitchen ingredients validated by millennia outperform laboratory formulations, the final revelation becomes clear. The $12 shield that prevents 80% of aging. 80%. That's how much of visible skin aging comes from UV-induced collagen breakdown, not from time passing. MD Solar Sciences Mineral Moisture Defense costs $12 per ounce and prevents it without hormone-disrupting chemical filters. This number reframes everything. The wrinkles, loss of firmness, hyperpigmentation you attribute to chronological aging. Approximately 80% traces back to cumulative UV exposure. The sun breaks down collagen faster than your body can rebuild it. Prevention outperforms every treatment because you're stopping damage before it occurs. The formula uses non-nano zinc oxide and titanium dioxide. These mineral particles sit on skin's surface and physically deflect UV radiation rather than absorbing it through chemical reactions. Chemical sunscreen filters like oxybenzone absorb systemically, detected in bloodstream, classified as potential endocrine disruptors. European regulatory agencies restrict these chemicals. American prestige brands continue using them. Mineral filters avoid systemic absorption while providing broad-spectrum protection. At $12 per ounce, this represents the most cost-effective anti-aging intervention available. When preventing 80% of aging costs $12 and reversing that damage costs thousands, the industry's entire premise collapses. 15 products that betrayed your trust. Benzene, 17 times legal limits. Mercury, 30,000 times legal limits. On Facebook. 50-minute AI deepfakes. Formaldehyde in prestige creams. 5 alternatives that prove effective anti-aging never required luxury pricing. CeraVe's Vitamin C passes stability tests that fail $300 serums. The Ordinary publishes 117% collagen increase for $10. Prequel delivers 5 molecular weights, $28. Honey cleanses without stripping for $5. Mineral sunscreen prevents 80% of aging for $12. By prioritizing raw material integrity and facility certifications over aesthetic branding, you achieve superior results. By demanding published clinical percentages instead of proprietary promises, you become the consumer the beauty industry fears. When women over 60 verify certifications and demand transparency, the entire industry shifts. That shift starts with you. If this video saved you from mercury poisoning, benzene exposure, or AI fraud, or helped you discover 5 alternatives dermatologists actually recommend, share it with every woman over 60 in your life. Your mother, sister, friends need to know effective anti-aging doesn't require luxury pricing or hidden carcinogens. Share this video. Protect the women you love.